I'm here with Mosley's very own Tori Burgess, who is playing Cherie Blair in the Tony Blair rock opera. So it is coming to the Lowry at the beginning of October, and we can't wait. It's coming from its hit run in the West End and, of course, the Edinburgh Fringe. Now, we're not just chatting with anyone today because Tori is the Olivier Award nominee 2022 for the Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Pride and Prejudice, sort of. But you've also done loads of other things, including A Tale of Two Giants. You've got King Lear, you've got Hamlet, Alice, and Her Adventures in Wonderland. I've got my Alice top on today, actually. Loads of different things, but of course we are here to talk all about the Tony Blair rock opera, which I have to say is a sentence I thought I would never say. So please tell us all about the show, Tori.
So it was originally on at the Park Theatre in London last year, and then now we've got a new cast. I joined the show this year, and it talks all about Tony Blair's life. So we start off with him going to university and all the way through his life, and then obviously the wars, the 4 wars that he got us in. And it's just a really hilarious, fun journey of and quite nostalgic for a lot of people to go back and revisit these incredible figures, which, like, you know, for the likes of John Prescott, Osama bin Laden, Princess Diana, we meet kind of everyone from the Labour Party to the Royals, and then obviously I bring a bit of Cherie Blair, which again I never thought I would be doing.
Well, yeah, so obviously you are playing her, and she's obviously, we know it's a real life person. So when you're kind of preparing your role, you've got that benefit of, oh, there's someone there that I can research, that I can look at mannerisms and things like that. But then because this is kind of fast and loose with the truth, it's satire, it's fun. Do you also have that element of creativity to your character where you can kind of add things that aren't necessarily the real Cherie Blair?
Definitely, and certainly with the adaptation, the portrayal of Cherie in this is quite far away from the truth. She's like this sexy kind of femme fatale Lady Macbeth vibes, which they've really got a bit of artistic license with Cherie, which is so much fun. We had some brilliant impressionists that came and worked in the rehearsal program with us, and they said, Tori, actually you're all right, because yours isn't really an impression, it's like a strange caricature, so that's fine, you don't need to learn how to do the impressions of Cherie. So it's so much fun to do. The minute you step out on that stage, it's just like the bigger the better, I think, with this show.
And you've kind of we're talking politics and things like that. However, it isn't a political show, so it's kind of, it touches on things that happened, but you don't, whether you love or you loathe the Blairs or anything like that, it's something that's kind of open for everyone, isn't it? Because I don't want to put people off by going Tony Blair or...
Yeah, absolutely. I think wherever your political votes lie, people who are massive Labour supporters who, again, it's divisive within the Labour Party whether people like or loathe Tony Blair. So you've got that sort of pool of people. And then we've got people from the Conservative Party who, again, have their opinions and then they want to come and see it. And then you've got people who have absolutely no interest in politics, but just like a good night out at the theatre and a laugh, and like to see portrayals of people that they've seen over the years. You know, we've got John Prescott, played by a woman, a brilliant actress from Liverpool called Rosie Strobel. You know, it's sort of, it taps into all that kind of the silliness. So it's something for everyone, and the laughs come thick and fast is what I would say. You know, that's something that Harry Hill, who wrote the show, he really wants like people to just laugh, almost like you're at a stand-up comedy gig, which is obviously his world and what he's used to. So that's really fun as an actor to be like, right, okay, let's go. You know, once you're on that train, it's just... So yeah, absolutely. Come and see it. Don't be put off if you have no opinion of Tony Blair, or if you have a huge opinion. Come and see it. Make your own mind up.
And obviously you've mentioned some of the characters there, and you've mentioned obviously Cherie's kind of caricatured, but from what I've heard, you've got like Gordon Brown coming out as the Hulk, you've got Saddam Hussein as Groucho Marx, and all these kind of different people. So is, obviously we know it's done in comedy and it's there for fun. Is there kind of in the cast been this sort of level of, we know where we can take it before we might offend someone, or we're not really bothered about that, we're just going to go out there and do what we do?
I think you've always got to be careful as from like how you take it, but I think the way that it has been written, it allows you to be big, ridiculous and grotesque. So it kind of sets out to, don't want to say insult, but yeah, maybe nobody really gets off lightly in this show. So everyone's in the firing line at some point. So you're almost like, well, let's just go for it then. So it feels quite safe to play, and people get that from the beginning. They're like, all right, what could possibly happen next in this show? And then, you know, we get someone, Bin Laden comes on and sings a song, you know. So it's that kind of thing, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's so zany. And obviously we've mentioned it's written by Harry Hill, and I think it's that even the title itself is possibly something only he could have written, because he's got his, I'm assuming it's got his, as you've said, his comedy, his stand-up throughout it. So have you met him? And if so, what's it been like working with him?
Yeah, so there's two creators of the show. So we had Harry Hill and Steve Brown. So Harry and Steve were there at the auditions, which is quite, you know, you think, first of all, you're like, right, I've got an audition to be Cherie Blair. Okay, sure. Okay, and Harry and Steve are there amongst many other people on the panel. And you're like, all right, okay, this is an odd Monday in London, you know, and then you go and do your thing. So they've been there pretty much throughout the first day of rehearsals. They were there for lots of rehearsals because it's their baby. You know, they made this show and they've done lots of different, like they've been doing workshops on it for years. So they're really with us on the journey. And they always have little ideas and tweaks and things like that, which is really helpful. And because it's not always in a process like that. So they're very involved. So they came to see it the last time. So we've just had a little break. So they came to see it in Edinburgh, and then I think they're coming to see it in a couple of weeks again. So yeah.
Oh, brilliant. And obviously we've mentioned Steve Brown there, who co-wrote it with Harry Hill. He's done all of the music. He's worked with Harry for years. And it's this kind of rock and roll soundtrack, which I've purposely been trying not to listen to it because I want it all to be fresh to myself. But is there any song in particular, like lyric wise, that's really clever that we should watch out for, or do you have any favorites or anything like that?
So the final of our closing song of the show, I don't want to tell you the title of it, but you'll know it when it comes is my absolute favorite, and that is the one that we can hear the audience still singing it as they leave the auditorium. And that one is, I love the lyrics, I love how it closes our show, and it's just a lot of fun. But all the songs, you know, they take you on a journey. We start off and it's very like it's almost like a song from Sweeney Todd. So he because he's so clever, and what the license of this show is that we can visit all these different musicals. We have one that's very much like takes us as if we were in Les Mis and things like that. So I mean, I Sing a Tango with Tony Blair.
Oh, wow.
Tango. Yeah, it's the closest I'm getting to Strictly at the moment, and I love that.
Listen, Manchester's being represented this year in Strictly.
But yeah, so Steve's music brilliant, and we have a live band as well. So that's great to have that on stage with you. It brings like really cool energy to the show to have the live band with you. It makes you feel a bit like a rock star, which I like.
Oh, brilliant. So you've got all of these comedy ideas, and like you say, you've worked with Harry and he's giving you tips and things. Has it ever made you kind of go, oh, do you know what, I think I'd like to try a little bit of stand-up myself?
Oh, well, because we've just been at the Edinburgh Fringe, I saw loads of stand-up, and I saw some incredible female stand-up comedians who just blew me away, and loads of just brilliant people and clowns and things like that. But to me, there is the only way I think I could do stand-up was if I was hiding behind a character. Yeah. You know, like say it was like a character comedy one, but the thought of me just standing up there as myself, it's petrifying. I like honestly to have the most respect for people that do it, because it to me, I can stand on stage and be weird and do anything like that in the guise of a character, but to do stand-up is a really scary thought for me.
Yeah, I completely understand that. It's just like, yeah, it's a completely different skill, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
You mentioned the Edinburgh Fringe. Obviously, prior to the Edinburgh Fringe, we had the West End. Now, Edinburgh is kind of that do or die kind of situation. It's fierce. Has it made the show evolve in any way? Has there been any tweaks or changes from being there?
I think definitely. So it has evolved in a way because we did a different version of the show in Edinburgh. So we did an hour and a half. We did both the Act 1 and 2 stuck together, which is really intense as an actor because you're like, whoa, I've not got 15 minutes to like, go and have a cup of tea or whatever. So you've really got to keep the energy up for an hour and a half. But I think now we've gone back to the 2-act version, it really allows us to enjoy what an interval brings to a show and what that does to an audience as well. But we also in Edinburgh, we were performing at the ICC at the conference centre, which is probably the biggest venue at the Fringe. So it's absolutely huge, but that meant that our performances had to grow as well. So then when we took it back to like a Pross Arch theatre last week, we were still doing these humongous performances, but that's been, Pete Rowe, the director, and Harry and Steve have said to us from the beginning, the sky's the limit with the size of these characters. So I think all of us are like, yeah, that's actually brilliant that we were able to have a chance to make these characters so big. So yeah, I'm grateful for that. And because you never need to rein it in with this show.
No, absolutely not. Oh, I can't wait. So what does the transformation look like for you then? Because obviously you currently look nothing like Cherie Blair. So what do you have to go through, sort of like costume, makeup, wigs, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I wear a wig. A bit of a red lip. Cherie sometimes had a red lip, but that's something again that I quite like. We got the and then a suit and heels. It's quite, but the wig is I'd say quite transformative, to be honest. It's like about this.
Oh wow.
Sometimes I brush it and it just goes. But the whole show is like a homage to wigs, really. Like Harry Hill really loves wigs, so everybody's wearing wigs at all times, really. So yeah, look out for the wigs. They're pretty good.
Look out for the wigs. Yeah, you don't want to go outside in this Manchester rain in them wigs. They're gonna take on a life form of their own.
No, I'm looking outside right now, and it hasn't stopped today. It's horrible.
I know. But we do have this musical to look forward to bring us all a little bit of sunshine and a giggle. So just to finish with then, for anyone, there's no reason now not to come. We've heard all about it. I mean, Harry Hill's written it for a start with Steve Brown. So if there was any lasting things that you could kind of say to people, this is why you've got to come, what would it be?
I think it's been a long time since I've been to a theatre and seen people just be that ridiculous. So I think if you just want to come and see actors having the most fun and taking on these larger than life characters and just get swept away for an hour and a half, come along and have a good night.
There you go. Come along, have a good night. The Tony Blair Rock Opera is coming to the Lowry at the beginning of October. I think it's the 2nd of October. So we will see you all there. Come along and have a giggle. Thank you so much, Tori, and all the best with the rest of the tour.
Cheers.
Thank you.
General election is New Labour. Drop the earth, don't cling to it. New Labour. Wow, that's got a ring to it. It's modern, as in modern jazz. It's new, improved, and just like jazz. Most certainly, it's got pizzazz, the way no other party has. It's new. What could possibly go wrong?